Hey, what's going on, family? And welcome back to another exciting episode of Kicking the Bistro. You got your host, Chef Cornelius, and today I got a man who's here that has accomplished so much in the city. He's the owner and operator of Chef Express Catering. He's the owner and operator of the Express Bar. He's the owner and operator of the Mobile Cafe, Chef Express Mobile Cafe. And he also is a cookbook author, a children's cookbook author, Mr. Terence Locke, man. How you doing, bro?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Man, I'm pretty good, man. So what you got for us today?
So, this is one of our favorite items on our mobile cafe truck, Chef Express Cafe. It's our Cajun Persuasion. It's our Cajun Persuasion. It was inspired by my book that I wrote, Daddy, What You Cooking? So I decided to put it on my menu full time, and it's been a hit so far. So can't complain. It's been a hit so far. A lot of people love it. Very basic ingredients, nothing too fancy about it, but I do believe it's the love and how it's prepared as well.
Gotcha. So go through the ingredients and tell us what we got here.
So yeah, man, right now we have our grilled chicken, we have fettuccine, we have Alfredo, we have Cajun, Parmesan, and we're gonna garnish it off with scallion and tomatoes. But our chicken is marinated overnight.
Man.
So we keep it nice and fresh with that flavor. Let it soak in overnight, man. We pre-boil our noodles. We have our Alfredo sauce here, and we're gonna add a little Parmesan and a little butter to it and bring it to life. And we mix this all together, man. It's gonna be a beauty when it's done.
Man, it sounds incredible, man. And like you said, this recipe here is pretty much inspired by the book, correct?
Yes,
Tell us a little bit about the book.
It's promoted within this book. Now the book goes into way more depth into how I actually prepared. So we did cut a couple of corners on our food truck to get the food out faster and faster process and whatnot. But you can get a full recipe in this book at daddywhatyoukooking.com. But that's where it was truly inspired from, man. But this book came with me and my son working in the kitchen. I was cooking one day. He walked in and said, "Daddy, what you cooking?" Those are the exact words. First, I like to tell everybody I definitely corrected his grammar because his daddy, what are you cooking? But honestly, I didn't want to take away the authenticness of our conversation. A lot of this book is about 85% verbatim of me and my son's conversation when it comes down to actually cooking this recipe.
Awesome.
Kids got a lot of short attention spans, so they don't really stay tuned in. So that's where the other 15% goes to. So I also had to I wanted to create a full family as well, which is the mother and the daughter and the younger boy. Me being a single father or whatever, me and his mom are very great co-parents and whatnot. But I didn't want to paint the image of a single father. I wanted people to see this is what a full family is supposed to look like. You know what I mean? Especially being a black man and a black father. So I created additional characters, and these characters are essentially my real family as far as naming goes. Nikki is my older sister. Anthony is my older brother. He passed away with cystic fibrosis. And then you got Preston, which is really be Terence, but Terence is the dad. It's a lot of play in there, but that's how the book came about. And got this beautiful dish right here to prove it.
And I like that story there because that story right there give us this meal here, and just the passion behind it just shows you that this got a place in your heart, man.
Most definitely.
Yeah, so we got all the ingredients here. You guys seen it, so let's take it to the stove and see what we got.
Come on, man. Let's do it. Our first step, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and add this nice garlic and butter. After that, we're gonna add our marinated grilled chicken. That's the best. After that, we're gonna go ahead and add our sauce to this pan real quick. We're gonna give it a nice shift, shake, and stir. Do a nice little toss up for you real quick. And then we're gonna add a little bit of Parmesan cheese to it as well. Give it a nice fluff highlight to this meal. Just give it another little shift. We're gonna take this over to our plate real quick and get it nice and garnished up for you guys. All right, Cornelius, man, here go the finished product, brother.
Man, this look absolutely amazing, bro. And I love the fact that you garnish with fresh tomatoes and scallions, man. Like,
oh yeah.
Most people they'll take this dish and they'll throw a bunch of parsley on it, but you took some garnishes that's gonna actually give you some flavor pop as well as that good color that I would like to see.
Yeah, man, I definitely like you mentioned about the green onions. It's one of my favorites to use. I actually love green onions, but definitely don't want to use no red onions or anything like that. So a green onion is gonna give you that pop and that nice flavor that comes with it.
Hey man, you know me. You gotta go ahead and dig in.
Try it out.
See what we're working with.
Let me know what the chef said. How we looking?
That's pretty delicious.
I appreciate that.
And that pop of that Cajun seasoning really hit me good on the back of the throat. So
okay,
I really like that. Good bite.
I appreciate that, man.
So going into your company, Chef Express, like what made you think like I need to form this company, Chef Express? Like what was that turning point for you working in corporate America to really going into starting your own business?
This point came to me in 2015 of March. So I've been rolling for a little while, man. But it came to me, man. I've been several different jobs. My last job before I quit, I was a chef in the kitchen, cooking for the elderly people. So I used to steal a lot of recipes. I do feel like that's where I learned how to season because I had to kind of cut back on it. I mean, I can be a salty guy sometimes, being strong, being heavy-handed. A lot of us can be that way sometimes. So a lot of people do not know how to really season their foods. And the older I get, I realize you don't need 30 seasonings to make one dish.
Right.
You know what I mean? Some dishes, can require that, but not all. So I pretty much utilized my last corporate job, man, to teach myself how to do a lot of dishes and how to kind of season food, portion controls and stuff like that. But that happened for me in 2015, man.
Awesome.
I had to make a change.
It's a little fun fact. A lot of people, when they see that I'm a chef, they like to ask questions or whatever. But do you know, like pretty much 90% of my cooking, I'm seasoning with salt and pepper.
And a lot of us don't realize that's all you need.
Right.
And then you got to throw in that garlic and that onion powder.
Exactly.
They come right them the 4 top, and then I'm gonna say number 5 is probably Lowry's.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Everybody got to keep Lowry's in your kitchen somewhere. Yeah. Somewhere you got to keep some Lowry's. Right? You use it, but you got to make sure you got Lowry's. And another thing I'm gonna tell y'all stop doing. I don't know if I can say this on camera. Stop using dry parsley. You're gonna parsley something. Make sure it's fresh parsley.
Fresh is always best.
Fresh is always best. Always.
So, what point in your career did you say, all right, I'm gonna leave this job? Because I know you was cooking and doing Chef Express as well as working at one point. But what point did you get to where you was like, man, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this job loose and go full time with Chef Express? And what was that transition like?
To be honest, man, when I was working, my boss already knew what was up with me. Cause I'd be on the line fixing food and my phone rang, Chef Express, and she say, Terence, Chef Express. And then after a while, man, they really awkwardly, my boss grew a liking to me because I think she understood that I got you, but I got me first, baby. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I knew where I was headed. It was blurry at the end of that tunnel. I'm not gonna lie, it was blurry, but I'm like, I know. As long as I can see 10 feet ahead of me, I know I still got room to keep going forward. Gotcha. And every time I took a step forward, the blur became way more vivid. Everything came way more bright. I started seeing stuff and I'm like, you know what? It's about that time. And that particular time came when I realized that, number one, I was making more money in one day than I was at my job in a week. Number two, I do feel like the demand of my clientele picked up.
Gotcha.
So it put me in a trust bubble to say, you know what? This is what I'm finna do. This is what I'm finna do. I had just got my first apartment. I quit my job when I got my first apartment.
Wow.
Which is people would probably say that's backward. Why would you quit your job? And I'm like, nah. I was 25 at the time. A lot of us guys get started late. You know what I mean? So I got my first apartment when I was 25, man, and I quit my job. And I said, this is what I'm doing.
Man, that's kind of like a leap of faith. Sometimes you gotta make them leaps. I feel like in order to grow. You
got to. So you can't be afraid. You really gotta go for it. You can't be afraid. You know what I mean? Right. Because your biggest regret is regretting that you didn't do something that you should have did a long time ago.
Exactly. So as a young entrepreneur that have 3 businesses going, as well as writing a cookbook, what advice would you give the next generation of that young man that want to follow your footsteps? What advice would you give him to help him grow?
I would honestly say that it's okay to have a job. The older I get, I'm real big on telling people, hey, work for yourself. But what I do fail to mention is that I had a job when I started my business. Like I tell anybody, utilize your job for 1 year, 2 years to fund your business. No, there's no need in trying to be an entrepreneur so bad that you go broke and that you struggle so much when you really don't have to. It's all a choice. You know what I mean? But I will say, if you're going to go into a 9 to 5 to fund your business, make sure it's going to be a 9 to 5 that can educate you in your business. Like I just mentioned, my last job, I was a chef. So I had the recipe books. I learned a lot. I actually learned how to cook corned beef.
Wow.
I learned how to cook corned beef in my life, but I would have never made that.
Right.
Here at this kitchen, here in No Life, I would have never made that. It was a St. Patrick's Day, and I realized I learned so much.
Right.
I learned that corned beef is a St. Patrick's Day food, and they made me cook it, and I told them, all right. I opened up the book, I learned a whole new dish just doing that.
Right.
So those particular jobs in the back is a part of my history of how I'm able to do a lot of things today. So I would just definitely tell anybody, if you're going to get a 9 to 5, which I would highly suggest it, there's no need going broke just to say you're struggling.
Right.
A lot of us entrepreneurs, I want to have such of a struggle story, and it's a choice. You don't have to struggle.
Right.
You know, get a job, but you make sure you set a plan not to stay there long. Set that plan and budget it out. Hey, this check is $600. I got to go buy this camera. This check, I got to go buy this. Fund your business with your 9 to 5.
Awesome. Man. Hey, that's really smart and really good advice. A lot of people, like you said, a lot of people choose to struggle in business when they really don't have to. And like you said, plan your exit plan while you're there and working towards something.
That's it.
So, yeah, man, I love what we had today, man. Thank you for coming on to the show. Let us know how we can reach you at your mobile catering and your website. Let us know all that.
Yeah. You can find me on Instagram _Chef Express, Twitter Chef Express Cafe. Find me on www.daddywhatyourcooking.com, www.chefexpress4.com.
Awesome. And also, like you got the mobile truck, and you let them know when you post it.
Oh yeah. Follow our social media. You can find our schedule for the week. We got pasta. So if you're interested in what this tastes like, if you don't believe him, you don't believe me, come see me at the cafe. Check our Instagram out, and you can find us anywhere in Chattanooga.
Man, there you have it, man. Thank you for Chef Terence for coming through, giving us the Cajun persuasion. And thank you guys for tuning in. I want to thank you guys for checking this episode out of Kicking the Bistro. And until next time, peace.